Hey everybody, David Guido here, personal development coach, trainer, speaker, and author of the book, What If? 30 Days to Powerful New Perspective. So we're in the home stretch, just a few days, maybe a week or so until Christmas. And it's kind of getting down to that nitty gritty, huh? You know, that the crunch time, under the gun, pick your cliche. We're all there. It's just the way the calendar works, right? But let me ask you two questions. Number one, have you ever seen somebody behave in a way that was so cool, so awesome, that you're like, yeah, that's how people behave at the holidays. Why can't we all behave that way year round? Second question, have you ever seen somebody behave in a way that makes you go, it's the holidays. You would think they would be more blank. Fill in the blank. I can't believe they're not more blank. If you've ever asked those questions, if you've asked those questions this holiday season, I'm there with you. This week alone, I've asked both of those questions. But I also have to tell you, and I have to admit, that my behavior has probably, during this season and in past holiday seasons, made other people go, why isn't he behaving in such and such way? After all, it's the holidays. Maybe you've been there. Because what happens, especially now, we're in that last week, stress, right? Overwhelm. Not enough time. You know, we're looking at the calendar going, 7 days till the holiday, 8 days till the holiday, whatever it is, whenever you're seeing this. Socializing. And you know, it sounds silly, and it probably is silly, but when there's a lot of social activities with family and friends at work, that's tiring, and it can lead to kind of moving away from the behaviors that maybe we all expect at the holiday. Remembering everybody. I know I get stressed every year. Who did I read? Did I say Merry Christmas to everybody? Did I say Happy Hanukkah to my Jewish friends? Did I include all of my family? Who have I forgotten, right? And so maybe you've been there, maybe you're there now. Maybe that's the story of every one of your holiday seasons. So as a reminder, this week, we're gonna look at 5 behaviors, 5 attitudes, 5 approaches to take during the holiday season. But we're also going to look at or keep in mind that these are 5 things we should be exhibiting year round. So 5 real quick, real simple, 5 behaviors that we typically see around the holidays, maybe not in the last week leading up to the holiday, but we should, and that we want to keep in mind as we head into 2017, into the new year. 5 behaviors that we want to be a part of our life at all times. So what are those 5? The first is love. Christmas and the holidays, the end of the year holidays in general, are a season of love. And it's probably the biggest, you know, and you've heard me say before, you know, love is the answer. And we tend to be more loving toward family, toward friends, toward coworkers. We tend to have more love open in our heart because the season brings it out of us. And so we don't want to lose sight of that because of stress or because of overwhelm or because we feel like we're running out of time. Because at the end of the day, what the season really is about love. And just exhibiting love toward those other people in our lives, toward people that we don't even know. You know, when we're in the malls, when we're in the stores, when we're in traffic, this is the season to show love. But what would happen if we did that year round? What would happen if we took that love that symbolizes this holiday season, every holiday season, and we lived it year round? What would happen to our lives, to the lives of the people that were the recipients of our love? Number 2 is giving. This is the season of giving. You see the Salvation Army people out the requests for donations and for gifts for families that don't have the money for Christmas, and all of that really cool and really wonderful stuff. But it's the season of giving. You know, Christmas originally, and we'll talk about this more next week in next week's blog, kind of the meaning of Christmas. But for now, you know, the reason Christmas was originally celebrated was to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, who came to give his life. And the key there is to give. And that's what the season's about. We give presents, we give gifts, we give good feelings, we give all of that stuff. And sometimes when we're in traffic at the mall, or when we turn the corner 3 consecutive times at the mall and somebody takes our parking space just as we're about to pull in, we forget that it's about love and it's about giving. And if we don't have that behavior or that attitude year-round, I'd suggest that you consider it if you don't already have it, because what would happen for you? What would happen for other people if you took that giving spirit that symbolizes the holidays and expressed it year-round? Number 3 is kindness. We tend to be more kind at this time of year, don't we? There's, you know, certainly within these last few days, the last week, when the stress peaks, kindness maybe not so much. But this is a season of being kind to our neighbor, to our family, to our friends, reaching out to people that we don't normally reach out to, or that we've been hesitant to reach out to. And this is the time of year where we do that. And so we don't want to lose sight of that as the crunch of the last few days leading up to Christmas and then to New Year's. As that crunch starts to weigh on us, we don't want to lose sight of the kindness of the season. And again, same question. If we took that kindness that symbolizes the holidays and we expressed it year-round, what would that do for us? What would that do for the people that we express that kindness to? Number 4 is forgiveness. And we talk about this a lot, and we have throughout this year. This is a season where we forgive. How many times have you personally experienced or heard about from a friend or from an extended family member, a coworker at work, or just overheard a conversation while you were out and about a family reunion or a friendship reunion? And it happened because forgiveness was extended. And that happens a lot this time of year. You hear that more. But in these last few days, in this last week or so leading up to the holiday, are we forgiving the person who cuts us off and takes that parking space? Are we forgiving the person who grabs the last, G.I. Joe off the shelf that we were about to get? Are we forgiving the person who can't find their wallet, and so we have to wait an extra minute to get our latte at Starbucks? Or are we getting caught up in the stress and the overwhelm and running out of time and forgetting that forgiveness is a big part of the holiday season? And again, I ask the question, the forgiveness that is such a hallmark of this season that brings families and friends back together again, what would happen if we extended that forgiveness throughout the year? How would that change our lives? How would that change the lives of the people that we interact with, that we love, that love us? And the last one, and I saved this for last because it is the end of the holiday season, or we're coming close to the end. The 5th one is patience. Easier said than done, right? I struggle with this one. I've struggled with it all my life. But this is the season of patience. And tell me if you've seen this, because I see this every year. You go into the malls and you go into the stores at the end of November and the beginning of December, and people are patient and they're forgiving and they're kind and they're giving and they're loving and all of that. But they're patient when the person is in line and it's the 20 item line and they've got 43 items. and it's Christmas and it's the holidays and we're patient and we're, that's, you know what? And then we get to the third week of December and we're like, what do you mean? It's not even 43 items. What do you mean you're in line with the 21 items in the 20 item line? I don't have time for that. It's the season of patience. And how would things be different if we extended that patience throughout the year? How would it be different for us? How would it be different for other people? So those are the 5 things that I think really illustrate what the holidays are about, that we tend to lose sight of the closer we get to the holidays, for stress reasons and overwhelm and running out of time and all of that, like we talked about. And 5 things that we should think about exhibiting throughout the year if we're not. The first one is loving attitude, a loving approach. And the second is a giving attitude, a giving approach. The third is kindness. The fourth is forgiveness. And the fifth is patience. And again, why do we want to do that? As we've talked about before, when we are loving and giving and kind and forgiving and patient with other people, in other words, when we're serving other people, all the surveys say that is when we are at our highest levels of happiness, peace, joy, personal satisfaction, fulfillment. That's what it does for us. It centers us with this incredible peace and joy and happiness and all that. But the reason that it does all of those things is because of what it does for the other person. You know, if you think about a June day or a July day or an April day or an August day, what do you do for people when you're loving to them? What's it do for them? When you're giving, when you're kind, when you're forgiving, when you're patient with other people, what's it do for them? And so those are the kind of things that we want to exhibit throughout the year if we're not. And here's a really cool benefit. If we get in the habit, if we're not already there, if we get in the habit of constantly and always living, or at least as often as possible, if we are driven and committed to making it a habit, to day in and day out, doing our very best throughout the year of exhibiting the loving and caring and kindness and giving and forgiveness and patience of the holiday season, then doesn't it make sense that when we get close to the holidays and the stress starts and the overwhelm starts, it's easier to fall back into those habits of loving, giving, caring, kindness, forgiveness, patience. Make sense? So I hope that this serves you. I hope that this helps you. I hope that it's a nice reminder and kind of centers you. And if you're there and you need that, and if you're not, if you're there and you're like, you know what, David, I got this. I feel like I'm loving. I feel like I'm giving. I feel like I'm kind. I feel like I'm forgiving and patient. And I don't feel like I've lost that through the holidays and I'm that way all year long. Share it with other people. Share this with other people. Share those emotions with other people. Lift them back up if they're not there to those levels. And again, if you're showing love to others, if you're showing a giving heart to others, if you're forgiving, if you're showing kindness, if you're showing patience throughout the year and at this holiday season, your life is going to go to that next level, and you're going to bring the people you affect that are experiencing that from you, you're going to bring them with you to that next level. So again, my sincere thanks. As always, share this. I know you know people, and you should share this with five people you know need to be reminded, need these little reminders, because the holidays are overwhelming them now. We're getting into those last few days, that last week or so, and before Christmas and New Year's, and the holidays are overwhelming them, and they need to hear this, so share it with them. Again, my sincere thanks. I appreciate it. I hope this serves you. I hope it inspires you. I hope that the reminder pumps you up. And until the next time, get out there every single day. Discover something new. Learn something every day. Reach for your dreams and go for it every day. And live the life that is so